there's a big car dealership in New York City on Northern Boulevard in Queens. I used to live a few blocks away, and they'd be like, and what they would do is they would get cars that people literally were like, they were in an accident, and they would just be like literally wiping the blood off a Nissan Altima, and they would bring it on the lot, and they'd be like, Major World, come on down. These deals are so hot. And it's just all cars that, drug dealers, they would go to like police auto auctions and buy it or whatever. It was wild. It is Black Friday. I didn't go shopping today and get anything. Last night we're going to tell the whole story about where I was last night, but one of my favorite moments last night was some guy at a bar going like this, going, hey, it's Black Friday. We should go to Target. And then everybody else at the bar turning around and going, yeah, we should go to Target. And I was like, that's not a half bad idea. He's like, I think it's a great idea. What are you going to, go in there? Is Black Friday even still a thing? Do people, I know that I've defended Black Friday because like, I know that a lot of upper middle class people look down on it, but there are people out there that fucking need deals. So it is what it is. And they, they need to go out and fucking, swing a bike lock around so they could grab a fucking microwave and fucking run out of Walmart. It is what it is. There are people that are in that circumstance. So I've always defended and I know it's crass and, it's vulgar and it's everything that's wrong with America. But it's like, as long as we're all living in this system, we might as well take advantage of its dwindling benefits. And one of them would be, at 2 a.m. going in and fucking, going into a fucking Target mosh pit and pulling out a few fucking, toasters or whatever you get. I don't know. A few backpacks for the kids. I don't know what Target even sells, but I would imagine they have those things. I mean, we used to grow up, you would see there was a Stampede, I think in Long Island, there was a Stampede and I'm pretty sure it was a Walmart. And then everybody was like, we have to do some soul searching because of the Stampede at a Walmart. I believe, look when that Stampede happened, because I'm pretty sure it was around the time we were kidnapping people and torturing them in underground prisons. No one had an issue with that. But it was the Black Friday Stampede that really got...
2014, it looks like.
Was it 2014? I guess it was. But, I mean, people used to... But I don't even think... Now there's Cyber Monday, and there's other, opportunities. What a Thanksgiving I had last night. Let me tell you, folks. If you don't have a family, you should be legally prohibited from celebrating Thanksgiving because it's really not for you. And I said to a friend of mine, because we were both going to be in LA. Now, I could have flown home to be with my family, but I chose not to because I'm going to be back in town for Christmas. And I'm like, I'm on planes all the time. I just can't do it. I just can't make it happen. So I was in LA and I said to a friend of mine, I'm like, why don't we can go out to dinner, which is... You never go out on Thanksgiving. You never, ever go out on Thanksgiving. You do not leave your fucking house ever on Thanksgiving. Now, I don't know why I forgot that. I don't know why for whatever reason, that idea didn't register. I'm like, well, I'm in LA and things are different. Whatever. But you don't. You sit on your couch and you fucking eat stuffing and you listen to your aunt talk about QAnon. What you don't do is fucking travel. You just don't do it. It's just not what you should do. And I forgot that. And I was looking at places that have Thanksgivings, and I find this place in Calabasas, which is where like the Kardashians live. It's out by Malibu. It's about an hour from my home in West Hollywood. It's about a solid hour. It's out there in the canyons with Kanye and fucking, there's big houses out there and, go fuck your mother money. And they have this place called the Saddle Peak Lodge. And the Saddle Peak Lodge, Rogan loves it. It looks like it's got big moose heads and elk and, it's a fucking lodge. It looks exactly what you think, some Illuminati, Mason lodge would look like. And it's in Calabasas and supposedly, it's good food or whatever. So I'm like, oh, we'll do it. And it was hard to get in because LA's got a lot of people that came to LA and for whatever reason, they're still in LA and they go out to dinner because they're either older or we were looking around. We got to this restaurant. First of all, It's an hour. It's raining. It's torrential rain. We get into an Uber. My friend shows up at my house. We get into a fucking Uber. It's torrential rain. It's 56 minutes in torrential rain in an Uber. And by the way, it's through canyons and up mountain. It's crazy. We think, and there's people that are, and we got a late reservation at 6:45. So the people on the road are already drunk. They're already coming back from things hammered. So like the guy's stopping and she's swerving in and out of lanes just to avoid these people that are shit-faced and left their fucking family party. So we're heading to this lodge in the middle of fucking nowhere to have a Thanksgiving. We get there, and by the way, when I say this place is hidden, it's an understatement. It is dark. You cannot see anything. My friend is mad. My friend who I love, but he's a pouty bitch. Like, he's pouty. He's one of these guys who doesn't tell you he's angry. He pouts. Mm-hmm. He's got the frame of a woman. He fucks a lot of hot chicks, but he's got the frame of, not now, he's got a girlfriend, but he's got the frame of a woman, and he acts very womanly. And you know, he pouts. He pouts. He whines. He whines and pouts, you know? And so he's like already whining and pouts. So as soon as we get into the fucking Uber, it's a problem. It's so far away. It's all right. You know it's far away. We get there. There is an ambulance outside. There's a stretcher outside. I walk in. I tell them, I said, we have a reservation for 2 for 6:45. The maitre d' or the whatever, she goes, oh, okay. We're having a little issue here because there's 2 ambulances outside and a stretcher. And I said, oh, that's good. I'm having an issue too. It's called Thanksgiving dinner, and it's at 6:45 for 2 people. That would be my issue. And I'm glad that you're having an issue, but let's all have the issues together. Let me have, so I'm not taking no shit is what I'm saying. If you're killing people with your food and they're leaving in stretchers, that's clearly not my issue. Now, many of the people in LA, because they are demons from hell, agree with me, and they are now mad that their tables are not ready, and an uncomfortable amount of people are now cluttered around the maitre d', and we don't give a fuck, and we do not care at all. So the EMTs come in, they bring down this 90-year-old woman who's bombed, who's just a white Zin hitter or whatever, and she's asleep, and they put her on the stretcher and they take her out. By the way, this is great. Thanksgiving, you just show up to the restaurant and somebody's leaving in a stretcher. It's a great welcome. Happy Thanksgiving. So we get there. There's this old woman on a stretcher, hammered asleep. Okay. And we're having none of it because we've all been waiting 15 or 20 minutes. We're having none of it. Okay. We're mad at this woman. We're judging her. Somebody else goes, I bet she's just drunk. And I'm like, I bet she is too. She's just, this 90-year-old woman came here and she got shit-faced and now she's got, whatever. She fell asleep at the table or whatever. So I go to so after they clear the 90-year-old woman out, I go back to the hostess and go, listen, there's clearly a table open now, right? I mean, she's out. So, and she goes, well, I don't know if her party is going to leave. And I go, you don't know if her party is leaving? They're going to sit there. One of them just got taken out in a stretcher and they're going to sit there and eat cranberry sauce? Kick them out. Get them out of here. And she goes, well, I don't know if they're leaving, but we'll see. Don't worry. We're going to set the table shortly. It's like amazing to me. Some guy's in there with a service dog, a little collie who's running around with a service. And I said to my friend, Michael, I said, God help them. I said, if this food is not good, I am going to leave in a stretcher. Because the reality is there's no Ubers. I was like, there's no way an Uber is going to, we're fucked. And I'm genuinely going to call an ambulance to leave if I have to. I'm dead serious. No part of me is kidding. I'm like, I will call an ambulance and give a fake name like I've done many times before. And I will kick the door open and jump out of the ambulance and leave. Okay. And my Michael's getting a little uncomfortable because he knows I'm not, no part of me is kidding. So we finally sit down in this fucking lodge and we're looking around, and I mean, it is the damned. It is the damned in this place. People without families, older people. There's like a mom with 2 older daughters. You could tell the dad just died. Like, they're very sad. and you could tell the dad just died. There's a table of like older people. One guy literally says loudly to the whole table of people, he goes, "I wasn't supposed to be here." So that's the mood everyone's in. Some people are leaving in stretchers. So everyone knows that they're there because they failed at whatever. You're supposed to be in a home with family. You're not supposed to be in this lodge. Now to top it off, the food is also atrocious, which is great. It's Thanksgiving catering hall food. It's just bad. It's just not good. I'm sure it's a decent restaurant when it's normal. So I'm like, the food sucks. And then of course, my friend, there's this new thing where people start defending the restaurant now. Like this happens a lot. People now, like when I'll comment on something, people start defending like my friend Michael's like, it's very hard to make food for this amount of people. I'm like, well, then do it for free. If it's that hard, we're all paying money for this. Figure out a way to do it. I mean, this is grotesque. One guy just literally yells at the top of his lungs. I swear to God, in the middle of the day, he goes, "It's not hot." And then he's with some chick. She goes, "I like it cold." And he goes, "Well, I don't. I want it hot. It's Thanksgiving." So the poor manager goes over to their table. And this guy, I wish I had a photo of him. He was the same guy that said, "I wasn't even supposed to be here." He's having a full-on breakdown because this is his life. It is bad. It is Thanksgiving, and we're in the middle of a rainstorm in this fucking hunting lodge. And he's at this table of people, and no one cares about anybody, and there's no love. And all we want is the food to be fucking hot. Just make it hot. And he calls the manager over and he goes, "Listen," he goes, "I want it hot. It isn't hot." He swear to God, he goes like this to the manager. He goes, "Put your finger in it." The manager's like, "I don't want to touch it." "I believe you." The manager's like, "I believe you." The guy's like, "No, touch it." The guy takes the manager's finger and he puts it in the stuffing. And the manager goes, "Yeah, that is cold." He goes, so the manager now, the poor manager is shot. Everybody here is shot. It is a rainstorm. It is nasty. We finally get through dinner. It's not good. One of the waitresses was an older woman. She was funny. We're kind of kidding around with her. And at the end of the meal, I go to try to call an Uber, and there are no cars available. There are no cars. So we are in Malibu. We're in a canyon. There are no cars. There is no way to leave now. We now cannot leave. And so we finally get an Uber. He's like, I don't know, 30 minutes away. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's like 17 minutes away. He finally arrives, and I don't know where he is now. So I call him, and this is a thing that Uber drivers where they can't hear you, but I think they can hear you, and they just keep saying hello. Like I was like, "Where are you?" And he's like, "Hello." I'm like, "Where are you?" I forget his name. It was like Armin. I'm like, "Armin, where are you?" He's like, "Hello." I'm like, "Armin." He goes, "I am at your place." I'm like, "You're not here, Armin. You're not anywhere." So now I am in the middle of a canyon in the rain. I've left the restaurant. I'm walking up a block in the rain, about to get fucking pummeled by a mountain lion, screaming into my phone, "Armin, where are you? I'm getting wet. Armin, I'm wet." So Armin just hangs up and cancels the ride, which I get charged $13 for. And then I gotta go to Uber and be like, okay, the guy didn't show up. The guy's nowhere to be found. So we go back in this place. We're now sitting at the bar. And then this place also attracts there's a type of rich person in California who's very earthy, and like they're old hippies and their parents were hippies, but they have a lot of money and they inherited these big houses in like Laurel Canyon or Malibu or whatever. And me and Ben have been to some of these houses, and they're like, and these people look like shit, but they're loaded. Mm-hmm. And they're all sitting at the bar, and that's the guy that goes, "We should all go to Target." I'm like, that's not a half bad idea. It is Black Friday. So finally we call over the maitre d'. We go, "Can we get a cab?" So she calls a cab. The cab is an hour away. So we have to sit. We're sitting now at the bar. Now, you think the people in the dining room are damned? You have no idea the group of the crew that is at the bar on Thanksgiving at this hunting lodge. Okay? One guy is literally just talking about cancer to no one. He's sitting at the bar, and just talking about different kinds of cancer. And every now and then the bartender nods and fills up his glass. And he's just going on. He's like, yeah, my sister, there's Hodgkin's, there's non-Hodgkin. It's just, and then me and Michael's there. Michael's, of course, being a pouty bitch. He's like, it's a lot of money. This was a lot of money. He's being a cunt. And you want to just hold off and smack him in the face, And we're waiting there. Finally, the cab comes. This is now, we get in the cab. Now it's a solid hour to get to the Comedy Store in the rain, in the traffic and the rain. And we're in a cab, $100 to get back to West Hollywood. The whole night, the dinner was $300. The Uber out there was $100 and the Uber back was $100. So it was a $500 night. The food was horrific. It was just maybe one of the worst experiences we've ever had. The room full of people, we were all aware of how we looked at each other like, yep, and just gulped. Because we knew why we were there. We were there because we had made choices that led us away from the warmth of others. We've made choices that have led us in the other direction of the embrace of our loved ones. We had gone the other way. And now we're sitting in this fucking hunting lodge eating cold lobster bisque that's not even lobster bisque. It's literally butternut squash soup that they just threw lobster in. It's literally, I brought the waitress over. I go, this is butternut squash soup. She just starts laughing. She goes, yeah, that's what it is. I'm like, what are you doing? Okay? You shouldn't leave your home on Thanksgiving. Christmas, you can go out. Christmas is different. Christmas has a different vibe. There are people that go out for Christmas. It's split up into 2 nights, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So some people will go out on Christmas Eve or some people go out on Christmas Day and they do the family the other night. And some people have Tuesday. Thanksgiving, if you are in a restaurant, you are damned. You are absolutely 100% damned. That is it. You have made poor choices and this is and it's sad. It's very, very sad, And it really it fucking really made me think in that cab on the way back. And then my friend Michael goes to sleep. He just starts he sleeps the whole ride back because, he's like, I have trouble getting up in the morning, so I just have to sleep. So I'm alone. I have no one to talk to.
There's no service.
There's no service. And it's just the rain. And we're just driving through this canyon and we're in traffic. And I look at all the other cars and I imagine they have families in them. Families whose tummies are all full with Thanksgiving food. And I'm like hungry again because it's 2 hours into it. So I go to the Comedy Store. I start eating cold pizza in the kitchen of the Comedy Store with a waitress. I'm like, how much worse does this get? How much worse does this get? And then I'm on stage having like a lackluster set, being like, yeah, trying to make this funny. And the crowd's like, well, you don't think it's funny. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Why are you out? It's fucking Thanksgiving. Ridge Wallet, yum. Ridge Wallet, yum. What's that? Wait, who does that? Yum. It's Ruby Tuesdays.
Oh yeah.
Wait, is that Ridge Wallet? Yum. That was Ruby Tuesdays. That's the Contempt. Yeah. Oh, Red Robin. Sorry. Red Robin. Yum. That is a contempt that Red Robin has for the people that eat in their restaurants. The utter contempt they have. Like, they didn't even come up with a word as much as it's just a sound. Red Robin. Yum. Because they're like, what are the chances that anybody who would come to our restaurant needs a multi-word pitch to come in here? Let's just keep it simple. Red Robin, yum. And if you go to Red Robin, let me tell you, it is not yum. It is more like this. Red Robin, oh. That's really what it is. Red Robin, But I'll tell you what is not, and that's our friends over at the Great Ridge Wallet. Many of you still have old leather daddy wallets, like big old fat catcher's mitts you pull out of your pocket. You got everything falling out of there. You got mail, you got business cards of people that have tried to fuck you over in the past. You got credit cards and debit cards and, they're all maxed out and, God only knows which ones are even still good. And you just throw them at waiters at, Red Robin. And, what you need to do is streamline it. You need to focus. You need to start eliminating the waste. You don't need it anymore. You don't need the glut. So Ridge Wallet is a small front pocket wallet very hard to lose, metal wallet. You can't lose cash, can't lose cards. It's all snapped into the Ridge wallet. Smart. Sleek, sexy. It's basically a wallet that makes you boil down your entire wallet and what you carry around to a few essential things. Some cash, a few credit cards, business card or two. Keep it simple. Nobody likes hoarders. Okay, boomer? Okay, boomer. Yum. Nobody wants hoarders. People want the richest people I know. You go into their houses, it's like they don't even live there. Clean. Surfaces are clear of any clutter. And it starts in your wallet. It starts in your pocket. If you want to live like that, it starts in your pocket. You pull out the Ridge, you know automatically you are protected. You're not going to lose your stuff. And you know that you have a wallet that is going to be, it's not obtrusive. It isn't one of these wallets that when you pull out, you feel gross. You feel good. It's available in really a bunch of different colors, which is great. And go out and get it. If you love the show and you don't like your wallet, you want to support the show, it's a great way. And it's a great wallet. They've got over 30,000, 36,000, 5-star ratings and reviews on Yelp and everything like that. People really enjoy the wallet. If you don't like it, they'll take it back. This is how confident they are in the actual wallet. They just really love it. So get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns. Ridge.com/Tim. Ridge.com. Use code TIM. Tell you right now, folks, it's a great wallet. And they respect you. They don't have a slogan like, yum, Red Robin, yum. Imagine saying this to somebody. Like, imagine saying this, looking at somebody going, you want to go to Red Robin? I get if you have to. You're in a pinch. You're in a situation. But can you imagine just looking at somebody going, hey, you want to go to Red Robin? Let's go to Red Robin tonight. I'm really excited to try their new line of burgers over at Red Robin. Yum. That's why you need a Ridge wallet. A Ridge wallet is like a Starbucks. It's like sleek. Boom. In and out. Bam. Get what you need. Get that coffee. Get that caffeine. Get out of there. It's important. It's important. You should, the phone and the wallet, you got to really update yourself. Ridge is a great way to, get into the new fucking, what is it, the 21st century? Get into the 21st century. I don't know what we're in anymore. I don't care. 20th century, 21st century. I thought we were in the 22nd century. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. It's all the same shit, century-wise. But I'm telling you, it's a good thing to have. It shows that you're modern. It shows that you're aware. You have a Ridge wallet. Maybe you could start a cool conversation with somebody. They're like, yeah, how'd you find out about the Ridge wallet? I'm a huge fan of the podcast, the Tim Dillon Show. You start talking about that. Maybe it's how you meet your wife. Very possibly how you meet your wife. She's like, I love the Tim Dillon Show. And you're like, fucking, that's a red flag, maybe. You go, oh, really? Then she looks at you and she goes, yum. You go, okay. But it's a conversation starter, the Ridge. It's interesting. Ben has one. Mm-hmm. I have one. It's great. Everybody's doing good. So don't fuck around out there. Go and get the Ridge. You go to ridge.com/Tim, TIM. That's it. And what do you get, Benjamin? Tell them what they get. Tell them what they get, Benjamin.
You get 10% off today. And if you don't like it, it's free worldwide shipping and returns. So what do you have to lose?
Okay, you have a horribly annoying voice. I'll say it again. 10% off, free worldwide shipping and returns. What do you have to? Ben, when you talk to him, doesn't have that voice, and he gets on there, he's like, why I have to lie? It's like, what is wrong with you? Ridge wallet, yum. Here's another thing, folks. I watched The Irishman. Does anyone in this business die? Does anyone walk the fuck away when they need? Can you just get up and walk away from the table? I know they're all legends. I know they've done a million things, but that movie sucks. It is boring and it sucks. And I love everybody out on social media, like defending its honor. It's all these people that are in love with the past and they can't let it fucking go. And it's never the people that lived through it. It's never the people that were like actually there. It's like fucking people that like idolize mobsters, even though they work at Geico, and they have no fucking idea. And they think in their lurid imaginations, they run some card game with Jimmy and Nikki. And these people just fucking, they love the past. And you're like, I hate all the new movies. I don't like them. They're all about babies. All these new movies are about babies. They're about, I like when men were men, you know? And that people used to smoke and smack women in the face, you know? It's such a fucking, first of all, the first scene of the movie, they're all CGI because they're all, so these are all older actors like Pesci and De Niro, and they CGI them to make them look younger. So it's just a bunch of CGI corpses for the first thing in the movie. I know so many talented people that can't afford water. And it's just the same people over and over again. It's like you couldn't make a mob movie. You couldn't make this movie. But the whole thing is it's just a fucking money grab. They're like, well, it's Scorsese. We're going to make it with Keitel and De Niro and Pacino and Pesci. And they're all old. And it's like, it's just not good. It's drawn out. It's long. And people are just fucking, you know. And now people are getting really testy about it. Like people are adopting The Irishman as like, you know, this, they're like, it's a masterpiece. These are legends. And oh, you don't like it because what? It's you don't like it because you're a cuck with your cat videos. You don't like The Irishman. It's like, guys, we saw it already. It was called Goodfellas. It was better. It was shorter. There's a movie called Hoffa already. We saw that. We did it. We're done with these kind of movies where it's like a narrator is explaining like, hey, this is Tony. You know, the first time I met Tony, I was at the speakeasy. And good for Sebastian and Jim Norton, guys that I think are amazing. They're in it great. But it's just like, let's move the fuck on. Let's stop. And I see these people on social media that are really loving the movie. And it's, you know, it's not like it's people that like think they if they were alive in that time, they'd be like part of the Rat Pack. And it's like, no, you wouldn't be part of the Rat Pack. You'd be a guy who one of these guys would embarrass and like hit in the back of the head with a butt of a gun. So this fantasy land you live in where you think you're like, you know, you think you're Dean Martin. It's not the case. It's a boring fucking movie. And the people that like it can't understand or appreciate that we've moved the fuck on. We've moved on from this. Enough already.
I like it because it's the old world, and you see the way that the people used to be in the old world. They're legends. You know, smoking jackets and Cadillacs.
Shut the fuck up. Go back to your cubicle at Geico. Enough. You fucking clown. You think you're some fucking Vegas mobster. Some fucking, connect the guys. Connect the guys. It's just such a Long Island fucking Jersey movie. A bunch of fucking people that think they're connected to the mafia because their dumb uncle went to jail once because he was used as a fucking patsy. And they think they're somehow in the mob, and they all fucking have, you know, Goodfellas and Scarface posters on their room, on their walls, and they're 38 years old. They live with their mother, and they're waiting for her to fall down the stairs so they can inherit a fucking house. And they think they're like Jimmy Hoffa. They think they're like a real street guy, you know?
Oh, The Irishman's good. It's a great movie, you know? You're my cousin, you know?
Because this is one of those movies where, like, everybody will tell like, I grew up in a town with legit mafia people, and it informed that the way I grew up to an extent, but it's like, I don't romanticize any of that horse shit. It's cool. The food was good, but it's like, what can we stop? Can you cut it out, please? You're a fucking grown up. Enough with the playtime. Like you fucking have any clue. The Irishman. 7 hours. I showered in the middle of it. I didn't even stop it. I showered, I did laundry. It was in and out of the room. It's so long. It's so long. And then they have this scene where it's not a scene, but it's like the after thing with Scorsese, and they're all talking about like making the movie and stuff like that. It's like, Scorsese, how about stepping out of your fucking comfort zone? Make a movie about black trans women. Why don't you impress me? Stop making movies about these fucking goons. We get it. How about you show that you got a little fucking range? Make a movie about babies who grow up to be gangsters. I mean, enough already. Dennis, who I've talked about on the show, Life in the Big City, loved these movies. He loved all that. And I get it, because they had a place. And he grew up and he knew the guys and he knew the place. He knew Henry Hill. He knew those guys. They lived in a town that I grew up. But the people that are really identifying with the Irishman are not people that had any fucking clue what was going on during that time at all. They did nothing. No fucking idea. They just romanticize it because they think that if they had lived then, boy, it would have been real different, you know? They would have been really fucking running the show. They'd be really running the table. You know? Little insane. I just see all these people. Oh yeah, all these people don't like the Irishman. Yeah, it's an objectively bad movie. It's boring. Mm-hmm. It's objectively bad. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, it's such a waste for... people are like, oh, Pesci came out of retirement. It's like, no, he should have stayed in it. He did the right thing.
Go back to retirement and let somebody else have a shot.
Yeah. Let
someone have a chance. Let somebody else please have a chance. Please. We don't need this. What are we going to be doing? Are we going to just animate their dead bodies? Is that going to be the next movie that we make when they're literally dead? I don't understand. They're all on death's door. They've had great lives and great careers, and they've done amazing things. Let them be. Mm-hmm. Nobody needs this. But it's a big moneymaker because it's the boomers love it. Mm-hmm. Boomers love it. So whatever, that's my piece on The Irishman. I know that people give me flack for that, and I know people get angry. It did well. What did it make, 140 mil?
Well, that's the budget.
That's the budget. It was $140 million.
Jesus.
That was all spent on colostomy bags for the talent. So they could piss themselves and they don't have to stop filming. You know? Enough already. Had enough. These fucking people. You go on social media, it's the same people. It's like Susie Benedetto's like, I love The Irishman. It's such a great, that's when things made sense. Yeah, did they? Did they? How about you go make a lasagna, you Neanderthal? How about you go, it does make sense. I like those, yeah. That time when women were not on Facebook, they were making ravioli. So go back to that. How about you follow the example of The Irishman and shut the fuck up? And get back in the kitchen. If you like that time so much, how about you follow the rules and stop opining about culture? We don't need it, Marianne. We don't need it. Go make a meatloaf. I just, it's this, the people are like nostalgic for periods of time that they didn't even fucking live through. This 1950s horse shit where everything was so good, but we were, sicking dogs on black kids trying to go to school. I get it. Modernity sucks. It has its problems, but let's stop jerking off the past every fucking... It's the sign of a dead society that we're jerking the past off all the time. And can someone show up to the new set of Mad About You with a gun and tell Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt that have enough fucking money that Murray's dead, the dog's dead, nobody needs that shit show again. That wasn't good when it was on the air, Mad About You. How empty are people's lives that they need this shit? Well, what's Fraser Crane been doing? What the fuck is wrong with you? Get a life. These people, who is this for? Disney Plus. What are you doing? Watching The Little Mermaid? You're a 38-year-old man. Stop reading Harry Potter in public. You're an adult. Enough. I mean, this Disney Plus lunacy. If you have kids and you want to show them these things, I get it. But, the amount of, Jared Logan had a great point. He's like, Disney is the first culture you're exposed to. It's not supposed to be the last. You're not supposed to go, well, I'm just going to stay here. All those movies I saw when I was 3, that's where I'll stay. I just want to watch The Lion King on loop. When I was on a tour bus, I had this couple that came on my tour bus, and they hated New York City. They really didn't like it. New York's not for everyone, but, this woman and her husband, they hated New York City, and they were 2, blobs, and they came in and they sat down, and they had Disney shirts on, and they go, we were going to take a Disney cruise. We take a Disney cruise every year, but this time we decided to go to New York, and they go, we didn't really like it. We didn't enjoy it. They go, the one thing we did enjoy was The Lion King. They go, we saw The Lion King play, and that was nice. We don't like anything else. We just don't like it. We don't, and I'm like, well, they go, we just want to go to Disney World. And I said, well, why do you like Disney World? And they go, well, it's just the best place on earth. You don't have any responsibilities. I'm like, but that's not life, right? I mean, I said to them, I go, well, but that's not life, right? I mean, that's for children. Children have no responsibilities because they're children, but you're adults, right? So no matter where you are, you have some responsibilities, right? And they're like, well, no, Disney World, you're just totally, you have no responsibility. It's the best place on earth. And like, you could tell that like every question I asked was making them angrier, because it was an assault to them, because they were very happy in their living coma. And they were just like, no, I just want to be taking pictures with Mickey on the Disney cruise. You could tell this was a couple that like, held hands, that had never seen each other's genitals, and, had probably, it's sick. It's a sickness. This is a disease. Disney is a disease. It's enough. And they suck. These movies don't hold up. I tried to watch Lady and the Tramp the other day. It sucks. And it used to be great. But you know why? I was a kid. It doesn't really hold up. I do like the Siamese cat scene. That is good still, because I like them, and I like the way that they kind of, that I like. That holds up. Certain films do hold up. Song of the South holds up. That's a joke. That's a joke, everyone. Don't get excited. Put the torch down. Put the torch down. Put your citronella candle out. Don't get too excited. Just kidding. It's comedy. I just kept tweeting yesterday funny things, and so many people thought I was serious. Like I tweeted, I said, we let my 6-year-old cousin say grace, and he came out as non-binary, and he called my grandfather a colonizing pig. Fun start to dinner. And then there were people that are like, he was put up to, like, they can't read that I'm a comedian on Twitter. They're like, he was put up to this. No 6-year-old. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. People can't get a joke. I said, some of the tweets were really funny. I said, my aunt and my uncle, I'll read some of these tweets, because the amount of people that thought they were real tweets, and then, were attacking me, going, I don't believe you. Or, some of those people are trolls, but some of them legitimately, they're like, they literally think that, I'm literally, talking about real things that happened. Okay, quick update on holiday. My grandmother just called a restaurant Oriental, and now we're beating the shit out of you. Now we're beating the shit out of her. And then people were like responding to that. There was one where I said, wow, this got awkward real quick. My aunt and uncle, who are brother and sister, are full on fucking in the living room, and we're all pretending they left to get beer. This is a wild one, LOL. We're never going to let them live this down. The 6-year-old cousin one was great. I just love some of the responses. Yeah, it was a setup. The parents were involved. Colonizing, are you British? It's great. It's great. Go to let's find the, listen to this. Disrespect is rampant in today's youth, more so than at any other time. It's a direct reflection of the failure that is today's parenting. My son would have his lips slapped off if he talked to his grandfather that way. 12 likes on that response. That's a guy with a great sense of humor. And then you read these responses and you go, oh, no, it's not going to be okay. We're not going to find a political solution to whatever these issues are, because that's the public. That's John Q. Public. Those are the people out there that you're going to have to convince of the things that you want to do. Those are the people. The people that are responding to what was clearly a joke in a very serious way. Support for the Tim Dillon Show comes from Manscaped and from viewers like you. Let's remember that from like PBS when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Channel 13, they would do the drives and they'd be like, support for the Children's Public Television Network comes from the Helena Rubinstein Foundation, Halliburton, Raytheon. It's true. It was all defense contractors and viewers like you. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. It offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Tools for the jewels. Jingle balls to the walls, fellas. Listen up. Untrimmed pubes are a thing of the past. Nobody likes a big fucking bush that you haven't taken the time to fucking scape. It's time to gear up and get yourself the gift of shaving. I'm talking about the Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0. What's great about Manscaped is you need this product. It's not something you don't need. You need to clean it up down there. The only other product on the market is an Norelco Body Groom. This one is far superior to that. The Lawnmower 2.0 comes inside of their perfect package, which makes the perfect gift this holiday season. It's everything you need to be trimmed, cut-free, smelling nice. They have a ball deodorizer, all kinds of things, the crop preserver, an anti-chafing moisturizer. I'm telling you, it's the move. If you want to clean up your junk, it's the move. You got to have a nice situation down there. It's good for everybody involved, Are these products smell good? Their manly scent is attractive and will help set the mood if you know what I mean. I love that they say if you know what I mean, because it's like, well, the whole thing is about balls and sex. So it's like when they're like, if you know what I mean, it's like they're being coy with that one line. They're like, if you know what we mean, yeah, we do know what you mean. The whole fucking ad is about getting your junk ready to fuck. That's the whole point. Or just to have nice junk. Who knows? Perfect package comes with a pair of Manscaped boxer briefs that'll keep your junk feeling fresh all day. It's time to upgrade those overused pair of used boxers to Manscaped high-performance anti-chafing boxer briefs. High performance. Have you used the lawnmower?
I used it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It didn't clip me anywhere incorrectly. Because I've tried to use a beard trimmer down there and it's just too rough. And this lawnmower, it really gets the fucking job done down there.
I used it the other day and I cut my dick off. No. So I emailed Manscaped and I said, we got a big problem here. And I told them the whole story. And then they emailed me back and they were like, we'll send you a free ball deodorizer. So I said, all right, fine. I still got those. I'm kidding, folks. What's good about Manscaped is you don't cut your dick off. A lot of these things, sometimes before you hook up with somebody, you just try to get your dick ready and you try to just shave your area and you're doing it very quick and there's a lot of pressure, And it's like Ben has one girlfriend, so it's kind of different when you just have one girlfriend you've had forever. They're like frontier people. They're like Oregon Trail relationship. They just travel around the country in a wagon, and all of their kids have died of smallpox. But like the rest of you, you're out there, you're meeting new people, and they haven't seen your dick before, so you want to give it the bet. You want to give it the old. You want it to feel nice. That's the reality. 'Tis the season to Manscape. So get yourself, your dad, your brother, and your friends, and all shave your cocks together. Take your dicks out, Christmas, and Manscaped. There's nothing listen, there is nothing remotely homosexual about shaving your dick with your dad and your brothers over the holidays. There's nothing you shouldn't feel any way about it. Call your best friend and go, why don't you come over here and let's shave each other's dicks. Let's shave each other's balls with Manscaped. I was about to say man spread. Do you get hair on your dick? I get hair on my dick. You have to shave the actual shaft sometimes because it creeps up the dick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, this is a good situation. Listen, you get your father a Manscaped. It's fun. You say, Dad, you better clean your junk up. Okay, boomer? Say that right to your father. Shave your cock at the holiday table in front of everyone. Why not? Stop with the toxic masculinity of not shaving your dick in front of your friends and your male relatives. It's toxic masculinity, man. Have parties. Have Manscaped parties. Call a bunch of buddies and go, hey, we're all going to put a bucket in the middle of the room to collect everybody's pubes. And then remember that thing that was like it was some type of dumb toy where you took a magnet and you dragged a little fur to the guy's mustache. It was like that dumb little face. It was magnetic. And you would take a little magnet and you would like drag the hair to the beard. But yeah, there it is. This thing. What's it called? The Play Monster?
Woolly Willy.
Yeah, things like that. So you tell all your buddies, you go, let's have a woolly willy party. And they go, what do you mean? And you go, it's a woolly willy party. We all shave each other's dicks. We collect the pubes in a bucket in the middle of the room. And then we have little magnet faces and we make beards with everyone's pubes. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off free shipping with the code TIM, T-I-M, at manscaped.com. Manscaped.com. The code is T-I-M. Here's the reality, folks. You need the Manscaper. What are you going to do? What are you going to do out there? I'm literally asking you, what are you going to do? You got to get it together. You got to shave that area. So what are you going to do? You're going to get the Norelco body groom that's owned by Gillette. It's owned by Ira Rennert. He's got he's got the largest private residence in the world in Sagaponack, New York. No. How about you help me out? Ira Rennert's fine. I don't even know if he's still alive. He's got the biggest house in the whole fucking country. He owns Gillette. Is Norelco owned by Gillette? Let's see. Get a fucking groomer. Maybe not. The point is this. Whoever owns Norelco is also doing better than me. Okay? So buy the Manscaped. And Manscape with your friends. You know? That's the type of Christian shit that you're afraid of because you were raised in a very small-minded environment where nobody shaved their cocks together. But that would be the best thing in the world for you is next Christmas, everybody to shave their balls and deodorize each other's balls. We're going to deodorize everyone's balls before dinner. Are your balls deodorized? If not, you're not coming into my house. Don't use the same trimmer on your face as you use on your balls. That's just nasty. Nasty. That's just nasty. It's like some swamp person. Don't use the same trimmer. That's nasty. That's a nasty trim. That's a white voice I'm doing. That's a southern white person. I am thankful for their crop reviver. This product, along with the crop preserver, keeps your balls from sticking to your leg. Okay, so do we have an ashtray here, please? What am I living like some fucking pig? This is great. Now he's going to get a fucking ashtray 3 flights up. You know, this is what you do. You get the help you can afford. Manscaped.com. Where'd you get that from? Outside. Oh. Manscaped.com. Tim. Get the crop retriever and the ball replacer and the whatever it is. Get the crop circles and the fucking the anti-chafing witch and the cock Alexa. Get it all. Get it all, folks. Buy it all. 1 for 6 easy payments of $79.99. You can see your dick. And if you're a little overweight, you know, you need every inch. So what you do is you don't need that inch of pubes. You get that out of there. Ben's skinny, and he always says he talks about his big dick. It's like, you know, there are people that have not seen their penis in years. And because they're not taking proper care. It's like the secret garden down there. They don't know what's going on. So get it. Get the cock trimmer and the beard trimmer and the crop circle. You know, get it all. Buy it all. Don't start with me. Red Robin. Yum. Thank you. Manscaped.com. Promo code Tim. Some people found Lisa's Lounge, you said, on...
Yeah. Let me pull that up. On TripAdvisor.
I love that, by the way, TripAdvisor is a site. The idea that the bar that I used to get drunk in and that many people have thrown their lives away in, Lisa's Lounge in Long Island, the fact that anyone rated it on TripAdvisor, that someone took a trip and thought it was appropriate to rate Lisa's Lounge, to me, like, imagine being that person. Imagine stumbling into a corner bar and then going home and writing a paragraph about it. I love, and by the way, how many reviews on TripAdvisor does it have?
Only 2.
What a strange, spooky night. Went here some years back to see a rather awful band. Truthfully, well, by the way, I've never seen a band there. I have no idea.
There's no place for anyone to play.
There's really no place for anyone to play music, but they go, our pal was filling in with them. Place was completely empty for Saturday night. Every 20 minutes, there were equipment failures. One old guy at the bar and a very nervous bartender because they're doing coke. Place was icy cold in spots. In the bathroom, you felt like somebody was watching you. After a while, we went, and then they go down and they go, oh, we were told that a guy was shot outside. 2 people were shot outside. We called it the double homicide. That was the nickname of the place. And the poor guy's body was dragged out the back door as the cops' ambulance arrived. Out of there. And no, we never returned. Although the drinks, food were good, they don't serve food. So this is how, like, people are out, just so out of it. And then the next one, go down to the next one. The next one goes, not your normal neighborhood place. I don't know if they serve food here, but the place is dirty. I'll never go back. Dive bar. Real dive bar. You didn't get it that it was called Lisa's Lounge and it was on the corner in a residential area. Mm-hmm. It's clearly not a destination spot. Mm-hmm. You know? I love this place was dirty. I'll never go back. Yeah, that's the point. Go to Yelp. See if they have anything up on Yelp. Okay. I love Lisa's Lounge, and I spent Christmas in Lisa's Lounge, and I don't regret it at all. It was a lot funner than being at that goddamn fucking Mason Lodge, wherever the fuck I was in Malibu. And it was, you know, Lisa's Lounge is fun. There was about 4 or 5 people there on Christmas Eve, and me and my friend Joe had a great fucking time. Lisa's Lounge. 3 reviews on Yelp. Let's see. Upon coming back, this is a hidden gem, really. There's a pool table and a nice staff. If you're a veteran, they'll oblige you to a free beer. They're nice. Stop by sometime at this nice little dive. That's sweet. Good. Here's another one. Decent little dive bar in Baldwin. Nice, cozy, good crowd close to home. Well, none of that's true, but stop for a drink after lunch with a girlfriend to see the lovely Erica bartending. I ate a shrimp out of her mouth. Once. It was a dare and I was drunk. We were also pleasantly surprised to see the bar nicely decorated for Christmas. It's really nice on Christmas. It really is nice. They really deck it out. They put lights all over the place. It really is a nice Christmas. If you want to make a nice Christmas memory, there was a woman named Marge once. Marge used to come in and shit herself. Marge was an old woman and she would come in the bar and she would buy everyone drinks. She'd go, give the boys another round on me. Mm-hmm. And then her daughter would show up and have to take her out of there because she would get. And once she shit herself, and then everybody at the bar started laughing. And they were like, we think Marge shit herself. And she's like, we were obviously not saying it to her face. She was an elderly woman. But she just started screaming at the top of her lungs. She goes, are you laughing at me, faggots? I just bought you a bunch of drinks and you're laughing at me, faggots? She goes, I should have my husband come down here and kick your ass. Her husband's dead years ago. So her daughter comes in here and her daughter's like, Mom, you shit yourself. And so they carry Marge out. And as they're carrying her out, she's literally screaming at the top of her lung, fuck you, faggots. You faggots! She's just screaming fag, which is why you can't really get rid of the word faggot, because it at that moment there was really no other appropriate word for Marge to use because she was angry. She just shit herself. She had spent years and years and years of her life just imbibing alcohol, and at that moment I guess she could have yelled the N-word, but we were all white. That would have been awkward. Also funny, but it was a perfect word. You never go up to a gay person and say faggot. That's fucked up. But Marge yelling faggots with her pants full of shit as her daughter and two guys had to walk her out of the bar, to me is appropriate. And I would like to sit down with any of these kids at Oberlin or Wesleyan and explain to them, well, what word should Marge have used at that particular juncture? She had bought us drinks. It was somewhat cruel of us to laugh at her after she shit her. I mean, we were kind of being faggots. I guess we should have just quietly, but we were just laughing. We were kind of being cunty about the whole thing, and there didn't seem an appropriate word for Marge to use as she was carried out of Lisa's lounge. I think for the last time. I don't think she ever came back. Their note, I believe this is a cash bar only. A good place for friends to hang out will definitely return. Quiet towny bar. Drinks are cheap. Love a good local dive. When I told my father I was hanging out here, instead of my dad being like, oh, you have a problem, we should put you in a home, or we should put you in rehab. He's like, he looked at me, he goes, son, such a boomer response. He goes, son, like a dirtbag bar has played a role in every Dillon's life. Your Uncle Tommy had a place called Buckley's. I used to go to a place called my father's place. Like he would just, and I'm like, great. This is good. It's like, son, you're following a long tradition of people that have made very bad choices in a very similar way to the ones you're making right now. Lisa's Lounge. If you're in Baldwin, Long Island, stop in and have a pop. Have a cocktail. Many of the people I know are dead. Did you come in there with me?
Yeah, we went back, but I don't think you recognized anybody, right?
No, because remember there was like a bunch of pictures on the wall of people that are now dead.
Yeah, and you were like, whatever happened to Trevor? And they were like, yeah, throat cancer, went in a year.
Sue died. Yeah. They lived hard. These people lived very hard. They really didn't take care of themselves. Many of them chose the bar over their families and alcoholism is very tough. That being said, it was a lot of fun. There was a time there when we had a really good time, when you just say to yourself, let's just make the best of it. Every now and then, somebody would stumble into that bar who didn't know what it was about. It was a place where you were unable to enjoy it ironically, which is great. Like, every now and then, like you'd see a hipster piece of shit walk in and try to like enjoy it ironically, but you couldn't do that because it was there was a woman, Jen, who used to hang out there, and she had those diabetic shoes, those big shoes, and she would walk in, and she was in a group home, but she would get a day pass and then she would go out to Lisa's Lounge, and she was ill. She was mentally ill. So again, you'd feel uncomfortable immediately if you came in there to just like, oh, it's such a dirty little dive bar. I'm just going to go in and have a little drink. Immediately you would be like, oh, this is really bad, because all the horrors of the world were on full display, as they should have been. Like Jen, for example, one day, Jen came in, there was a newer bartender, and this is a great story. Jen came in, I was there, and the newer bartender was there, and Jen walked in, and Jen goes, I'm having a party for the fire department here tonight. I need chafing dishes out. I need you to be ready. And the bartender was like, okay, all right. And I was just sitting there, me and a few other people were sitting there. We're all just kind of smiling, weren't really saying anything. And, Jen walked in and she goes, we're having a party for the fire department. They're all coming here tonight. And the bartender was like, okay, that seems strange, but hey, it's a local bar. This is what local bars do. They support the local, first responders. Okay. So Jen set up all the chafing dishes, and of course the food never came because there was no food. And then the firefighters never came because that was also not real. But Jen just got bombed and played pool by herself and played music from the jukebox and didn't seem to mind that nobody was actually there. She didn't address it. She never brought it up, and nobody brought it up. And then the bartender just obviously stopped asking when they were arriving, because she realized pretty quickly that Jen was mentally ill. And in Jen's mind, the bar was full of firefighters, and she was having a great time and throwing a party. So it wasn't a place where like you could like go And you had to be down with that. You had to be down with drinking with Crazy Jen. You had to be down. Or Crazy Patty, who came, and Crazy Patty had done some time in jail because she'd carved up another woman's face when they were children. Or maybe a man, I forget. But Patty, my grandmother taught Patty in like fourth grade or something. Patty had, and Patty's son called her once, and me and my friend Joe were there. And Patty's son called her, and Patty's son was like, Mom, and we heard him say this over the phone. He's like, Mom, I'm in Vegas. I think I took too much of something. Mom, I'm in Vegas. I think I took too much. And she just looked and she goes, all right, honey, I'll see you later. And just hung up the phone. And then me, her, and my friend Joe did shots, you know? You had to be okay with that. If you weren't okay with, if you were going to be the type of person that said, is your son okay? You would have to leave. You would have to leave at that point. If you couldn't enjoy or just at least make peace with the fact that, you know, this was the way it was. So like, you know, all these speakeasies, like these bars that try to market themselves as speakeasies, and all these fucking, you know, young professional millennials go there and they're like, ooh, this is what it was like to drink bathtub gin. You know, Lisa's Lounge was a real horror show. It was a real Rob Zombie movie, and you had to be okay with that. And we were okay. I was okay with it. I didn't mind, you know, my friend Julie, who I brought to Lisa's Lounge, who lived next to my friend Joe. And I said, hi, Julie, how are you? What happened? You know, what you know, I don't know why I asked her what happened, because she said, my husband's in jail. And I said, well, what happened? She goes, well, let me give you the Reader's Digest version. And I said, okay. And she goes, he came home one night. He was really on a bender. He tried to kill me. And then the cops got him 3 houses away. He was covered in my blood. If that bothered you, you couldn't hang out there. You had to say, well, I'm glad things are going well today. Would you like a shot? And she always would want a shot. She was a fun woman. And you just had to be okay with that. But then every now and then there'd be people that would stumble in because they thought that it was like a fun little divey bar for them to, like, you know, just kind of ironically enjoy. But you couldn't ironically enjoy it because you were surrounded by people who were dead serious. Like, it wasn't a crowd of people. Like, these were people that were dead serious. There was a guy named Bobby and his wife Sally, and she would spit a Seroquel or some drug into his beer every night, so he would literally pass out. And that's the only way she could drag him out of the bar, that he would wake up the next day, is because she had to drug him every night. And you would have to witness that and go, okay, that's the way they live. You know, he choked once, and Sally looked so happy because he was about to die. Literally, his name was Bobby Haha. He was like 50, but he looked 90, and he had a laugh like this. He'd go, ah! And he had the glass shop next to the bar. And every now and then he'd laugh. He'd go, ah! That's how he laughs. We call him Bobby Haha. He'd go, ah! And one night, he almost died. And I mean, literally, I've never seen someone choke to the point where their air was literally blocked. But he was so beet red. And it was at the point where he was no longer choking. He just started. And everyone at the bar was just kind of watching. Sally was just like, all right, he's done now, I guess. And then the bartender came up to his bartender, Tracy. And he goes, he finally, I don't know what the fuck happened. I think somebody smacked him on his back or whatever. And he just coughed up this like chicken wing, this chunk of meat that he had been choking on. And as soon as he got enough air, he went like this. He went, and he started laughing. And Tracy goes, Bobby, are you okay? And he looked at her and goes, you got a fat ass. Now, that was disturbing for a lot of people. And people couldn't have fun in that environment. A lot of people couldn't have fun in that environment. But I always thought it was fun and challenging. It's challenging, morally.
Was that the same crowd at the Helm?
Yeah. Well, the crowd at the Helm was an old fisherman bar, and the Helm had been around since like the 60s or 70s. And the Helm had been flooded so many times, the floor was kind of warped. The wood had been warped. The Helm had the best cheeseburger I've ever had. It's still the best cheeseburger I've ever had. And I always wondered why. I think it's because they never cleaned the grill. I asked a guy once, I said, why is this burger the best? He's like, because it's 3 a.m. and we're drunk. And I was like, well, that might be it. But it was really a great burger. If you're in Freeport, I don't know if it's the same. Go to the bar, get the burger, American cheese, sauteed onions. It's great. The Helm had a very similar, there was a guy named Lou at the Helm who hung out who didn't have a nose. Just had a hole in the middle of his face because he snorted his nose off. It was the same type of people, but the Helm was a little, people could kind of go to the Helm and enjoy it because it was on the water, but not many of them. Like, we're talking about we're talking about like the difference between a person that's a lifer at a bar like this and a casual. And in Lisa's, it was very hard to be a casual. You would really have to just resign yourself to what Lisa's lounge was, the power of the lounge. I just used to, my friends would call me and they go, where are you? I go, I'm at the lounge. And then they would come. And my friends would always come and enjoy it because they're dirtbags. My friends were dirtbags. I love them all, but they were dirtbags. So that's why they liked it. They thought it was great. But every now and then the Helm might get some people in there that were just, not aware of what it was and might have a drink, on a Friday night at 6 p.m. and then leave and then go have dinner and not really get it. But the Helm really came alive, around, midnight when it was just the people that really belonged there. Mm-hmm. And, Joan, who was a great bartender, Joni, there were fights at the Helm. People would smash glasses over each other's heads. It was, it's that type of place. It was just, it was that type of crew, but a great burger. And many people have never spent any time in these bars. They've never spent time in bars like this, like Ryan, what's his name? Felipe? Mm-hmm. How do you pronounce that name?
I'm not sure.
He commented that he liked the last episode. I don't know if he listens a lot or like a guy like that's probably not spent a ton of time in bars like this, like, a guy that's a good looking Hollywood actor. He's probably not spent an inordinate amount of time in these blood boxes, nor should he have. This is, but it's like there are people out there that just never and some of them will just go to a bar like this once and they don't just settle into it and become a regular. To be a regular at a bar like this changes you a little bit because, when I was growing up, like the thing about when I was growing up and doing a lot of drugs, you would like the type of poverty I saw had a lot to do with drugs. Like the people that didn't have money or that didn't have, and I'm not saying all poverty has to do with that. Most of it does not. So don't fucking, tell me like, well, I'm saying that because I was druggy, the situations that I got myself into, and when I would go and hang out at a crack house or whatever you want to call it, a house where they were selling cocaine, and 3 or 4 families were living in this little house, and it was largely drugs, and people just didn't have good jobs, and they weren't saving for their retirement, and none of that was happening because they were on drugs. They were selling drugs. They were going out with somebody who sold drugs. This is how they were earning a living. It's how they were making money, and of course there were people. And there were kids around, and it was shitty. It was sad because a lot of those kids, would bother you. They would just we were all trying to do drugs, and a lot of these kids would just bother you all the time because children are very selfish. But it was also sad that, they weren't going to have a shot at life, blah, blah, blah. But it is very, I didn't do it, but you would feel bad. You'd feel morally like, ugh, because you'd be doing coke in a room, and then in another room, like somebody had a baby. And you're like, oh, that baby is not going to have a lot of advantages that baby should have. I mean, it's just. So when you become a regular at these bars, you really see, you want to talk about like the middle class, you see what happens when people don't have a career, when they have a job, and when they don't make enough money, and they don't have a stable living situation, and they don't have any community of people. They find a community, and they're also an alcoholic. The community becomes the bar. They go out to the bar. They network at the bar. If somebody needs somebody to help them with something, if they need an apartment, they ask around at the bar. This becomes their group, you know? So being in these, you know, bars and spending time there and kind of becoming a regular there, I would see that. And I myself, you know, would, you know, I'd be like, hey, do you got a guy for this? You know, somebody who does this. It was like, these were people that, you know, unfortunately, some of them had kids, some of them had wives, but this is, you know, the choice that they made. They just spent a lot of time, and their entire life revolved around their addiction, and their addictions, you know, destroyed their lives, and they destroyed their families, and they destroyed their careers, and they destroyed their communities. And that, unless you're a regular at a place like that, and unless you see people over a span of time, it's hard to understand that. But it does give you kind of a good, and I was doing it myself. I'm not better than any of these people. I was doing the same fucking thing. I had a house I couldn't afford. It was being rapidly foreclosed on. I was not out of the closet yet. I wasn't dating anybody. My life sucked. I was just going to this, you know, decrepit mortgage office every day. And then what was I doing every single night? I talked to my friends about it, and they were like, yeah, we just figured you were like figuring things out. I was like, oh, good. Yeah, that's what was going on. And I mean, I was in a way, but you know, I was there every single night. I was 3 years old, 23, 24. You know, I meet young people that are young and they're happy and they got shit going for them. They're trying, whatever it is, you know. You know, I was 22 or 23 living the life of a 50-year-old guy, going to a dirtbag bar every night and just getting fucking hammered. And, you know, but being a regular at a place like that really kind of gives you a perspective on how easy it is to fall into a bad community. You know, if you grow up in the projects and you have to join a gang for safety or whatever, you know, you understand how people end up in a situation they shouldn't be in, and they don't leave because it becomes, you know, these are all the people you associate with, and these are the people that you spend time with, and these are the people that, you know, you commiserate with, and these are the, you know, you experience things in this place, you know. You know, the TV was on in Lisa's Lounge, and we would see, you know, you watch the Super Bowl or whatever. This is how they live. This was their life. And there are people that just never get out of that. There are people that never get out of that, and they spend their entire life in a place like that, or they bounce from one place. And then it's all the booze. It's not because Lisa's Lounge is charming and fun and quaint and kitschy and, oh, I love a corner bar. Like even the Yelp reviews, people are like, I love a dive bar. I love a corner dive bar. It's like, yeah, but you do because you don't know what's going on there. You haven't really appreciated. You haven't seen some kid walk in and try to drag his father out of there because he's like, we haven't seen, you know, a kid and his mother would come in and try to drag a dad out. Like, well, when are you going to come home? You hear every night. So when you know, you haven't seen that, you haven't really gotten the full picture of what a bar like that is. You know, this is why, like, now I think about, like, one, people don't go out a lot anymore. I mean, they go out, you know, everything's, you know, people go out to clubs, you know, whatever. I used to go out to clubs. I never was at home at a club. I've gone out to those, you know, New York City nightclubs, you know, when I was doing mortgages and shit. I never felt at home there. I never felt like I belonged there. I was there. It was fun. It was a good time. But these bars, I felt at home because I was just anesthetizing myself every night with fucking booze, and I just wanted to drink. And I really hung out there for a while. Like, you know, I mean, and we go back every time you know, when we go to New York, I'll bring people. And this is my friends, like my friend Michael that I went to Thanksgiving with. When I brought him there, he's like, but didn't you want to get laid? I don't understand. There's nobody. And I'm like, you don't get it. You don't get what it is when you're in the throes of a really deep addiction. You just need booze. I would just drink Kettle on the Rocks every single night, and there'd be bugs in the glass, and you'd go, who gives a fuck? Tracy would pour some Kettle One out. You just get fucked up every night. And I would stumble back to my house because I lived a block away. And that was my, you know, there was no like, There was no like, when I look back, when I was like a partier, I look back and it was like, it wasn't a party. It was a party when I was like in high school, maybe a year into college, year or two into college. But once I settled into just being a degenerate alcoholic, it was just a means to an end of like, this was a fun place to get fucked up where nobody would judge you, no matter what you had going on. You could just walk into this place and get hammered. And I was losing my house and that was okay. Nobody cared and nobody really asked questions. And if you were like, I'm losing my house, like somebody else at the bar would, raise a shot glass and be like, I've lost my house. So it's like, oh, good. We've found each other. This is a group. This is a community of people. The Tim Dillon Show is sponsored by Kanai Pro Gear. The world is going to hell in a handbasket. You got to be ready for battle. And it starts with a good backpack. That's right. Fuck the Jansport. Okay? Get that NPR tote bag and set it on fire. Get Kanai Pro Gear. Their backpacks are inspired by military assault packs. They took military-grade materials like 500D Cardura nylon, the brand name nylon, don't you know, which is the strongest, lightest, and most durable. This thing would have survived an Epstein's cell. Boom. Lots of great products have come out of the military. Aviator glasses, the Jeep Wrangler, and now you can use the Phalanx Duty Pack. It's in use by the U.S. government. If it's trusted by the Secret Service agents, it's good enough for you. All their backpacks are designed with functionality in mind. So whether you're an Antifa, you're a violent communist, or you're a neo-Nazi, whatever works, you need a backpack. Government demonstrations, eco-terrorist, you need a backpack. Whatever you're trying to do out there, whether it's just some small scale hitting somebody you disagree with a brick, or larger scale trying to bring down local or federal government agencies, you are going to need a backpack. And it's got to be durable because you're going to take some mace to the face, some bike locks to the head. If you really believe in stuff, and we've been on Reddit, you people do. So if you really believe all this stuff, you got to go out there with pro gear. You got to really get ready for the beating you're going to take at the hands of the corporate state. Now, they are going to win at the end. It's true. They're going to crush your face right into that dirt. But you'll still have a nice backpack and you'll meet some fun people. That's what it's really about anyway. No one has the illusion they're going to win. You'll meet some fun people. So if you're going to be one of the yellow vests in France or one of the people who got involved with the Arab Spring, whatever it is, you got to get out there and really show them who's boss, Civil disobedience. It's the only way to really make a change. And you got to have good gear, okay? Nobody wants some fucking Jansport cloth backpack getting ripped in the middle of a violent riot. That doesn't help anybody. You need to stick and move, Be quick. You're going to be taking tear gas to the face. And if you do, you need a backpack that you can count on, like Kanai Pro Gear, okay? Their holiday sales on now. My code TIM, you can get an additional 15% off. Okay, TIM, get an additional 15% off. And for limited time, if you spend over $40, you'll throw in free shipping. That's CanaiProgear.com, CANNAEPROGEAR, CanaiProgear.com. All of their products come with a lifetime warranty. No matter what happens out there, rest assured, Kanai will repair or replace any backpack as long as you walk the earth. So get the last backpack you'll ever buy at CanaiProgear.com. It is a great backpack. We have one. They send us all the products that we advertise. It's a great backpack. It's a tough backpack. If you're a college student, you need a good backpack. Even if you're a young adult, you need a good backpack. If you're a filmmaker, we do all those videos. Ben uses one. It's easy to put the equipment in. It's a tough, durable backpack, hostile environments, climate, whatever. You're not going to get fucked up. It's that Cordura nylon. Cordura nylon. It's tough as fuck. This is what the government uses, It's what our government uses when they go in all those third world countries to help them. So, they land in all these places and all their locals are like, thank God they're bringing nylon. They're bringing military-grade nylon here. Thank God. So that's what it is, folks. That's the situation, Buy the fucking backpack. Get that Kanai Pro Gear. Pro to the gear. You got to get that Kanai. You're going to find these backpacks online. This is where the good stuff is. You're not going to find this shit in Macy's. Some leather Gucci bag. Who are you going to beat with that? Kanai bag's a good bag. It's a good bag to beat someone with. Maybe a riot cop who just stumbled into a throng of protesters and you have the upper hand. You just start beating them with the kunai. Sure, you catch a tase, but you know what? You're doing it because you believe in something. It's good to believe in things. But if you believe in things, you need to have the kunai. I mean, that's what it is, folks. That's what it is. So go to kunaiprogear.com. Tim is the code. You get 15% off. You're going to need to worry about a lot of things when you're out there in the field. One thing you should not worry about is your backpack. You know, worry about getting beaten with sticks. Worry about tear gas. Worry about riot police on horses, crowd control, getting your ribs stomped out by a fucking stallion. Some fat cop from Staten Island just beating on your fucking rib cage like he's fucking Derek Jeter, just swinging. Listen, you got to worry about all that. The last thing you need to worry about when you're doing civil disobedience is your fucking backpack. That's all. You just want to say, hey, no matter what happens out here, I got a backpack that's going to survive it. You know? KanaiProgear.com. TIMCANNAE progear.com. Tim. I'm wondering if I should get on TikTok, and I think TikTok is interesting because the younger generation seems to not take social media seriously. Mm-hmm. And TikTok seems to be this, this kind of a thing where, people do these really dumb videos where it's like people are dancing or people are falling down or people are but it all seems to be very fun and casual, and people are just you're just kind of being a voyeur to an extent, and you're just watching people do these, funny, wacky things. And on its face, it's a bit ridiculous. But it also, when I think about it, it makes a lot more sense than how generations above them have kind of used social media. Like, if you said, what is social media supposed to be for? Is it supposed to be for 300 comment fight about climate change on Facebook? Is it supposed to be for just zany, wacky, goofy shit that you could waste your time watching while you're online at Chipotle? Mm-hmm. That's what TikTok is. So that, as and we say, will people monetize it? How are people? I'm sure eventually all that'll happen. But like, as goofy and zany and stupid as it is, that's like, yeah, but that's kind of what it should be. Like it should be that. It should be this thing where people are like, who cares? Yeah, I've all these followers, but who cares? And some people, I guess, are taking it seriously, but it doesn't seem like a serious thing, And I think that, but maybe I should get on it. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to know. I mean, I should go to Lisa's Lounge and just have them do TikToks. I don't even know. I think they're all dead. It's so funny to go back to a bar you hung out in and they're all dead. It's interesting. It's like, yeah, those people check out in their 60s.
Yeah.
They check out in their 60s because they live hard and they just check out and they just, that's what it is. That's Long Island, baby. They love the Irishman. They'd love the Irishman. Man, there'd be a screening of the Irish. I mean, it would be too long and nobody would pay attention. But that's, that's who that's for. Mm-hmm. That's who that's for. Those people. They view the future with dread, but they love the past. It's the same thing with Irish people. Irish people really hate the future. They're scared of it. They dread it, but the past is always warm and comforting, and it's in their mind, and they love the idea of, remember how things used to be, remember how things were, and they just, and that is, the people that I really see connect. And listen, I'm sure The Irishman, there's an argument that it's a good movie or whatever. I have no interest in hearing your argument that it's a good fucking movie. But at the end of the day, it's like, I think that's those type of movies. To me, I just get to a point now where I'm like, I see so much of evidence that there's no new ideas. And there's so many talented people that I know personally who are struggling and could bring a lot of new fun shit to the fore. And none of them are getting opportunities, but they're remaking Mad About You and Frasier. They're just we did it. We're done, guys. We don't need to nobody needs the constant glorification of the past. It was fun. I loved Frasier. It was a great fucking show. But let's move on. Let's do something else. And it's kind of depressing. Everything's a remake. Everything's a remake. It's like, let's do something else, you know? And when they do something new, it's always like euphoria. And I don't know if that's good or not, but I mean, I don't know what that is. It's just about, you know, kids doing heroin in high school. Is that what it's about?
Yeah, doing webcam stuff, selling their bodies online to older guys. It's
all right. Hey, but you know what? This is what it is. This is where we're at. At least you're making a show about how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I was watching An Irishman and I could just tell immediately. I was like, oh, I know the people who are going to love this. I know the people who are going to fucking eat this up. I'm going to go back and do Christmas with my family because I realize it's more tragic. Until you've built your new family or whatever, it's actually more tragic to go out, you know, for the holidays without just you know, it's really fucking sad out there. And then you see some people's tweets. They're like, I love New York City in the holidays because everybody's gone. I have the city to myself. It's like, oh, God. Poor guy's putting a gun in his mouth. It's so nice. I get the whole city to myself. Everybody's gone with their families. And I'm just here enjoying an empty au bonbon. Isn't this nice? Isn't it fun? No, it's not. You know? It really is a fucking tragedy, you know? But how long have we done?
Hour 3.
Hour 3. A few other things I want to discuss. We're not on the porch right now. We're looking for Studio 2020. It's very cold in LA, and we can't really broadcast outside right now, really until the spring because it's freezing and the winds are high and the mics don't sound good. We really were flirting today. What if we move the whole operation to Florida?
Why not?
What if we move the whole operation to sunny Florida? And I'm not talking about immediately, but eventually down the road. You know, the prices in New York and LA they're a bit ridiculous. And when you look at, you know, the bang for your buck, yeah, Florida's got negatives, sure. You know, the bath salts, the eating of the faces, we get it. But I'm pretty sure that you could find places where that's not happening. And I don't know that when I was in Florida, I had a weird feeling. I was like, am I going to end up in Florida? You know, my mother loved Florida. She was a fucking mermaid, a weeky-watchy mermaid. I mean, that's where I come from. I come from a woman who swam around in a tank in Florida to entertain truckers because strip clubs weren't open. You know, they'd watch young women float around in a tank with fins on and then probably jerk off in their cars. That's where I come from. And I just wonder if that's where I'm going. There's something nice about Florida, 79 degrees. I mean, it's freezing in LA right now. There's something nice about it. And I'm looking at, it's inexpensive. I think there's no income tax or it's very low. You double fist all your fucking money down there. It just seems like maybe that's where I end up eventually. I don't know. Weigh in, people. Tell me if I'm crazy. Or is Florida the move? Build a studio in the house, travel, do live dates all around the country, and just live in Florida, maybe have a little apartment in New York, bounce around. You know, I'm not leaving LA anytime soon, but I'm just flirting with this idea. Florida. I don't know. It's where a lot of people go to give up, and that sounds nice. I won't be down there to give up. I'll still be funny. But, you know, it can be funny from anywhere. Mm-hmm. Do the show from anywhere. Go on the road and entertain people from anywhere. Mm-hmm. Do I need to be in LA? You know, LA's a canyon living doesn't appeal to me. I don't want to live in a canyon. You know, there's some beautiful homes in LA, but they're millions and millions and millions of dollars. The traffic is horrendous. I love the Comedy Store. I love a lot of my friends here. I love a lot of the comics here. That also, you know, that also doesn't justify you spending 7 times the amount of money on a home.
That you have to evacuate like 3 to 4 times a year because there's a fire just surrounding your house, you know?
Yeah, it's burning. It's literally on fire. So I wonder if down the road that's going to be a reality. And I mean somewhere in the space of around 24 months and 2 years. I'm thinking if we build the show up enough, like, do I stay forever in LA? I mean, if the weather in LA was great all year round, that would be one thing. It's just really not. And the people that have spent time here kind of know that it's kind of cold. Every now and then it will rain. I don't know. I know Florida's a swamp climate. It's a little more tropical, but I don't know. As I age, I'm like 34, and I'm like, where do I want to be 45? Do I want to be 45 in LA? Maybe if I really hit it out of the park and we start making crazy money. But even then, it's like, I don't know. There's something nice about Florida.
What's the big con of Florida? Just the hurricane season? That's it?
The people. The people. The people are the negative. The others. The people.
The pedophile parks and all that.
That's pretty isolated. I think that the weather there, you run into issues too, because it's hot and swampy. But you just look at you look at the amount of money you pay. I don't know. I just think it could be the move. I'm going to get a bunch of messages from people that are like, that love Florida.
Yeah.
There's just something nice about going out to dinner at 3:30 p.m. Something nice. Something nice about it. Going there into the backwoods. You'd have to go somewhere where you could build a nice big house or buy a house or an apartment. It would be inexpensive. I have no interest in spending a lot of money down there. So I'd want to go somewhere I'd be somewhat isolated. I have to isolate myself. And I'd have to, I wouldn't want to be too isolated ever, but I could probably go 20 minutes, 30 minutes out of a city and find something that's inexpensive and just much better to live. No traffic, light traffic, get a studio there or build one in the house. Mm-hmm. You could go down there and golf. Mm-hmm. You could send your kids to Parkland. I'm sure it's safe now. But that's the thought. That's what I'm kicking around in my head. On a day like today when it's really cold, I kick that thought around in my head. I go, maybe down the road, a few years from now, I think about a little relocation. So I'm never going to do the winters in the Northeast again. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing the New York City way. I'm not doing it. I just won't ever do it again. And the winters in LA are not great. I'm not loving them. So I don't know. Maybe a nice sunny Floridian. Maybe that's how I end up. Like Rush Limbaugh, just eating oxys, talking into a microphone, living in Florida. Is it the worst life? Just scratching my skin off, eating conch fritters. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. But there's something nice about that state. There's something scary about it. There's a lot of things that are also very scary about it. But there's something when I was down there, I was in St. Pete Beach, and I went, I don't know if the future of this, I don't know if the future of the way that I exist in this business is New York or LA. I don't need to be here. I don't need it. I do need it right now, but I might not need it in the future. And I certainly don't need to be in New York. I don't need to do 13 comedy shows a night till I drop dead. I just don't need to do it. God bless everyone that's doing that, but you're missing out on other things. You can be a great comedian and not get up 75 times a night. You just can do it. You don't need to just there's other things you should experience in the world besides getting on stage in a dark room and telling everybody, they need to fucking listen to you and they need to laugh. I love it. It's great. But I'm like, hey, I could go on the road. I could, eventually that might be the, and I mean, listen, there's other places. There's Georgia. There's a lot of other places. I have friends that are very happy outside of Atlanta, but there's something about Florida. Something about Florida that I like. I got to take you down there. I want you to really see what it's about.
When's your next date down there?
I don't know. I don't have one. There's a comedy club in Key West, a really funny guy from Boston named Tom Dustin runs. I could talk to him about getting some, but the Keys are not really indicative of Florida. I mean, the Keys are that's a whole other thing. but it would give you the idea of Florida. But I mean, I could go down there and get a date. I was just at Side Splitters, which I loved, but who knows? I mean, this is just, it's just, again, we're just playing around here. We don't know what's going to happen. We might be in LA. I might stay in LA forever. I don't know. But it also might just be like, when do you pull the switch? At what point do you pull the escape? I'm just sick. I read these. I like the people. There's people that I started comedy with, God love them, that are still doing open mics in Brooklyn. They're still filing into a room and putting their name on a piece of paper, and somebody's pulling it out of a bucket. And it's like, guys, I don't hate on anyone. God bless you. And, I hope that you find the success you want or whatever. Number one, I'm like succeeding and it's still not great. So there's that. I will tell you that. It's better than being in Brooklyn getting my name pulled out of a bucket. But it's, it's still, So the idea of like just your entire life, I think just your entire life, you go, yeah, I just did stand up and nothing else. I just didn't do anything else. Which is great, but it's also like, are you missing out on literally everything else? And that's some of that hit me when I was sitting in that fucking restaurant and Thanksgiving last night. I'm like, what am I missing out on? I'm missing out on a lot to do this. I'm missing out on a lot to be on the road constantly, to be just broadcasting all the time, to be doing. Is there a way to do this that's less time intensive, where I have more time to create a life that's more meaningful than just this business? Because you see the people where their entire life is this business. They're rotted. They rot from the inside. And you just see them and there's nothing behind their eyes. They just become vessels. And everything's about, just trying to make it. And they're still just trying to, and I get it. You want to keep building and you want more, and the audiences have to be bigger. And I get all of that. It's very much in me to keep being that person. It's how I'm wired. But you think to yourself, at a certain point, do you just want to get out of that and still be a comedian and still perform and still do the show, but not be running around LA or running around New York proving what? What are you proving at a certain point? At a certain point, it really is. That's the fucking question. That's the question. What am I proving? I know I'm funny. The people that enjoy what I do know I'm funny. Who am I proving? Some fucking executive who doesn't know anything? Some executive who's basically kept their job by not having any discerning and just sitting around and being a yes man and just sitting there and, saying crazy, stuff, and just sitting there and being like, oh yes, well, we just want, strong point of view. We just funny first. We want funny first. Oh, shut up. We're all being funny. You don't care. So what are we doing here? There's no movie coming. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But, I'm settling into the idea that if we just get more people to enjoy what we're doing right now, then what the fuck is the point of living 20 minutes from the Paramount studio? Why? What are we doing? I'm not 20. I sit in these rooms with these people. I'm like, you're going to be fired in a few months. I get it. It's like at a certain point you go, what am I doing the dance for? What am I, certain, you gotta, at a certain point, like I love the Comedy Store. I love the Stand. They both work me. They're great. It's my New York home club. It's my LA home club. I go on the road. My agent's great. She puts me in all these places, but it's like, there's some clubs that just don't fuck with me in New York, and that's fine too. I don't care anymore. I'm not mad about it anymore. Like I used to, you submit avails. When you're a comedian, you email a club and go, book me. Some of them just don't book you. And for a while, you're real mad at that. And you're like, I gotta convince this fucking person that I'm funny. And then you go, no, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. That's fine. Good for them. You're not feeling me. That's okay. I'm not going to spend my entire life clawing And, it's unhealthy to spend your entire life never chasing a dream, but it's also very unhealthy to just keep chasing forever. Chase. Just keep, listen, we all want to be better at what we're doing. We all want to get funnier and sharper. We want to build audiences. But a lot of the tools to do that now are in our possession. They're in our hands. And for me to run around and just convince gatekeepers that I'm good, or just convince people, it just seems to be a fool's errand. And that's, there's a lot of people that listen to this show that might be comedians. It's a fool's errand. You can just go to people right now and then just figure out a way to get them the content that they want, get them shit that makes them laugh. And that's where the idea of like, it doesn't mean quitting. It doesn't mean, it just means like, am I going to kill myself trying to be Kevin Hart? Is that the point? Is the point to spend the rest of my life trying to play arenas? I don't know. Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. Maybe the point is to go, hey, in a year or two, when we've built the show up more and we've built the money up more, there's another way to do this so that I don't end up, at a lodge in the middle of Calabasas eating a Thanksgiving dinner that sucks with my friend who's, I don't know what he's in the CBD business. I don't know what he does, sells incense or whatever. And, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's not worth it, folks. Maybe it isn't. Maybe, you get to a point, you start really reevaluating stuff and you go, well, what's the point again? So you make money and you hustle and you get on the dumb like we're all at the end of this, everybody's going to die and no one's going to remember you. You know what I really realized that? I was sitting in Spokane Comedy Club and they're real fun. I went on stage as a joke. I said, the audience is real white here. And they all clapped and went, damn right. And I'm like, well, this is fun, huh? I was sitting in Spokane Comedy Club, best green room ever. They have Mario and they have great hot dogs. And you can play, the old school, like Super Mario World. And I love the play. Please book me again. I love you, Green Room. It's a great club. I was kidding. The crowds are fine. So what? Listen, some of them just want to take another look at the Holocaust. Sure, that's fine. Again, here's my mouth. Get me into trouble. I didn't mean it. It's all fine. Love it. Honored to be there. Love to go back. Anyway, point is this. But again, at a certain point, it's like, I got to say what I want to say here. So, if nobody could tell, I got banned from a Long Island club because I said that the audience came in sweatpants. They did. They came in starter jackets and sweatpants. I'm sorry. They did. I'm also a slob. That's why I did well there. But so now I can't work there anymore. So it's like, okay, I guess I could just never open my mouth. I shouldn't say anything. I can't make an honest observation. God forbid I do that. Isn't that my fucking job as a comedian to make an honest observation and go, yeah, a lot of people in the audience at the Long Island Club happen to be wearing sweatpants on Saturday night. And that's just what it is. It's a great club. I love the owners. I like a lot of the other comics that work there. It's just, I commented on the audience. It's just the truth. Okay. This Spokane Comedy Club. And the hot dogs they have are named after comedians. They have the Joan Rivers, they have the Richard Pryor, they have the Carlin. And I think I even posted on Instagram. I was like, oh, so as far as you get in this business, you're going to end up a hot dog. You end up a hot dog. You end up a hot dog that some white supremacist orders and goes, can I get the Richard Pryor? Which is ironic, but like that's where it ends here, folks. You're running a race for no one. You're running a race for nobody. You're going to be a hot dog. Best case, those are legends. You're not even going to be a hot dog. Hot dog is best case. You're a fucking picture on a wall. You're a portrait. You're a fucking clip that somebody plays. You go in a history book no one reads. And I'm not telling you to not go out and pursue the thing you want to do, because I wouldn't have life be any other way. I wouldn't have wanted to stay a mortgage guy, whatever. I'm still so I love making those videos and I love broadcasting and I love doing stand-up comedy. But at a certain point, you have to look around and you go, how do we build a life here that is somewhat sustainable? And is it in a place that's constantly on fire where I'm tap dancing for soulless executives who have no fucking clue, whose networks are melting in front of them, and I got to sit there in a room and look at these people these people should be strapped to a gurney. They should have straitjackets on, and I have to sit there and try to get how about, so maybe this is the show. There's no show. This is the show. There's nothing else. It's me and the fucking people. You don't like it, don't come. Don't listen. The only thing that's going to happen is if we put 20 cameras on me and give me a budget, it's just going to be some fucking 26-year-old that's like, I don't know. I think some of the things you said, we need to just kind of, it just is what it is. It's not, it's nobody gives a fuck. They're not letting me make an Ozark. He's not going to be Game of Thrones with Tim Dillon. It's just not. Unless next week it is, in which we'll delete this episode. You know how it works. Don't come at me. What about your integrity? People are like, oh, your integrity is clearly for sale. It's like, it's capitalism, dummy. I'm not sacrificing kids, but if you want to give me a dumb game show, I'll probably do it. But you're not even giving me the dumb game show. So why am I here? What am I here to do? To talk into a mic? To spend a crazy amount of money to live in the house of a crazy woman who I love, but I live in her crazy house because it's a block from the Hollywood Improv, a club that does it, works me once a month. They go, hey, can you come in at 3 a.m. and do a spot in our lab, which should have been a vape shop? No, I can't. I'll sit home. Thank you. Thanks again. What is Daddy's going to Florida is what's going to happen. I'm starting to feel like a sucker. Every time I fucking get parking validated to go sit in a high rise with some goon and tell him why he should give me the next version of Deal or No Deal. How about this? How about No Deal? How about a show called No Deal where you film me moving to Florida? The next time I see an executive, I'm going to sit down and go, when's the last time you saw your kids? They're probably doing coke right now and stealing people's jewelry in some mansion. Why don't you spend a little time with them, a little more time with them, and a little less time with me figuring out what the next version of Deal or No Deal is going to be? What mainstream entertainment, it doesn't even excite me. I'm going to go sit there with Jimmy Fallon and we'll talk about what? It's just not for me. I don't care. What am I going to fuck? What am I going to go down a float in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade? Dressed like Ghislaine Maxwell? It's not happening. It's not going to happen. I mean, so it's anybody's fucking guess why I love the Comedy Store. And I love my friends that are here. And I love the podcasts that are here. And I'm inspired by the other talented people here, which is why I'm here for the moment and why I'll stay here. But I'm getting older, and this business is for people that are very young and they can tolerate large doses of bullshit forever. And I don't know how long I can tolerate all of that horse shit for. And it's not just this business, it's any business. It's anybody out there that's trying to fucking claw their way to the next level of something. Is eventually you have to decide, what the fuck is the point? What is the point? What is the money worth? What is the money worth? The only thing I value is freedom. I'm free to do what I want. If I was making a shitload of money, but I had to get up early every day and go do some bullshit I hated, would that be worth it? Probably not. It depends on how much money it is. But you look back and you go, what the fuck was the point? What was the point of all this? And that's what got me. And that's what I've been thinking about in the last 24 hours. I've been thinking about starting a militia. And I'm not hating on the Hollywood Improv. Don't use me. It's okay. You know, it is what it is. But it's just funny. I live around the block and I pay all this fucking money. It's like, and I'm also close to the store, which is great. But like, it's the idea of like, you know, sometimes I'll get the avails email and I send my avails and they don't book me and I get mad and I'm like, but I don't even need to. What am I doing? So I can go do a spot at midnight for $15 for some confused tourist that came to LA. Enough already. Rein it in, pack it up. Leave it for someone else. Oh, here's Michael. Michael goes, to be fair, if we had even a great but not out of this world meal yesterday, we would have forgotten about it last night by tomorrow. Okay, well, I thought he was complaining again. I'm just at the point now, the tolerance I have for people's horse shit is decreasing. And you need to have a tolerance for it to live here. You really do. And eventually I'm just saying there might be a change of venue. Not tomorrow, not soon, maybe sooner than I would imagine. I don't know. Definitely not. You know, I'm here for another solid year, probably more than that because we still got to build the fucking show. But it's at a point where you start to look around and you start to see some of the other people that you're around and people are just, I get it, man. You're just on that hamster wheel of like, just, you know, there's a certain age where desperation, you know, when you're younger, you should be a little hungry and desperate. You should be in that situation where you're like, you're running on all cylinders. You're trying to make, and then at a certain age, you go, well, what's the rest of my life going to look like? Am I going to be a person that, you know, at a certain age is still just, or we have the tools now. Other comics back in the day, you didn't have the tools. You know, back in The Irishman, you had to fucking live here. You had to live in New York. I just think now there's a lot of people that are successfully doing it other places. And I think maybe that might be the solution. I don't know. timdilloncomedy.com for live tickets. Bridgeport, Connecticut. When does this come out?
Saturday. So it comes out the 1st.
Yeah, so December 5th through the 7th. If you're in Connecticut or know anyone who is, I'm at the Stress Factory, Providence, Rhode Island. I'm at the Comedy Connection, December 13th through the 14th. Timonium, Maryland. Magoobies, January 9th through the 11th. Las Vegas, Nevada. This thing called the Laughed Out Queer Comedy Festival. It's non-traditional gay comedians, so God only knows. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Ty Rivera's running it, who's a hilarious comedian. He's in Vegas, and he is... What's great about Ty is he doesn't mind a little controversy. That's what I like about him. He doesn't mind a little. When people ask what a real like comic is, it's really Ty Rivera. Mm-hmm. That's a guy who is more of a comic than all of these fucking drones that like, you know, file into these offices every day to write, you know, garbage jokes or whatever. He really puts himself out there. Doesn't give a fuck. He's deeply human. If he's wrong, he'll be like, hey, I was wrong. But he'll let it fly. So go follow that guy, and he just lets it fly. And can you pull up when he talks about Monique? Bring up Ty Rivera talking about Monique. This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Go to his YouTube channel. Monique is suing Netflix because she thinks she should have gotten more money. Ty Rivera has one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I don't know if it's I think go to his YouTube. Okay. He has a podcast called Unbothered or something. And he talks about Monique, but it's just one of the funniest things. It's just he just kind of sums up like the whole thing. And it's just kind of funny. Let's see. He goes right there. He goes, thank God for Flame Monroe, who's the great comic that went on The Breakfast Club. That's another great interview you should watch, is Flame Monroe on the Breakfast Club. Try to find Ty Rivera.
Right, Monique.
Please, can we play this on the show, please?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Ty Rivera here. the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. So Monique had decided that she was going to sue Netflix. She went ahead and filed the paperwork. She put out a statement on her Instagram, I believe, where she was like, "Hey, my loves, I have decided to sue Netflix. I have no other comment at this time." And I'm going to tell you guys, I went to see Monique's show here in Las Vegas. It was at the SLS at the time, which is now back to being the Sahara again. And what I can tell you about Monique's show is that it was good. It was fun. It was a decent show to watch. But was I holding my sides? Was I like, yeah, this needs to be a special and she needs to get millions of dollars for it? Honestly, no, I wasn't. And I'm not a hater on any level. I do like Monique a lot. I've liked her stuff in the past. I know different people were upset about different things that she said and her situation with the movie that she did, Precious, where she didn't feel like they were treating her right. But it just seems to be turning into a pattern where Monique always thinks she's being shorted in some way. And I don't think that a lot of the general public feels like her talent necessarily matches the level that she thinks that she's supposed to be at. She's just not one of the voices of our time, and she's not particularly charismatic in the way that nobody's sitting around talking about Monique in a good or bad way. Nobody's like, "Oh, I can't wait till the new Monique special drops," or "When's Monique gonna put something else out?" It's like, Monique, yeah, she's there. She's cool.
All right,
it's all right.
You get the idea. I mean, it's just so fun. He just lets it fly. He doesn't care. I love when he goes, "He's just not one of the voices of our time. You're just not one of the voices of our time." By the way, that was summed up better than most people could sum up anything. He goes, "You're just not one of the voices of our time." What a fucking way to say it. You're just what it is. Like, it's just funny. So he's booked this festival in Las Vegas, and I think it's Milo Yiannopoulos, it's the gay guy Greg Johnson, who's the white nationalist on Countercurrents. I'm kidding. These are all jokes. I'm a comedian and these are jokes. But I don't know, but there's very funny comics on there. But it's just funny, which because it's like it's Ty Rivera's festival and Jocelyn Sharp, who's another funny comic in Vegas. But it's just a funny idea. I watched that Monique clip, man. I don't know where I was, but I was just laughing so hard because he was just like, she's not one of the voice of our time. It's just such a fucking funny. And no shade to Monique, who I've never met, and I don't give a fuck. But I think Monique's hilarious. We've watched some of Monique's shit, and her Queens of Comedy. She's just very funny. She's very fun. I mean, it's just literally fucking hilarious. But who knows what's going on? I didn't see her new show. I didn't see her new special. I just think it's so funny. And Ty has no problem just putting it out there. He'll just put it out there. Like he did a review of the people that did the Netflix sets, the 15-minute sets. And it was so funny. He's like, yeah, he said nice things about me, but he was just like, yeah, he's like, did they tell them not to kill? That was the first thing he said. He goes, did they tell them not to kill? I don't know. But you need this. You need guys like this who just don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. He's living in Vegas. He's not in LA. He's not doing the tap dance. You're going to get the way he feels. Mm-hmm. Whether it is what you like or what you don't like, you're just going to get his unvarnished, uncensored opinion. And it's just very, very funny. I mean, he just doesn't care. I mean, it's just, what else? Let me see what else. Has he reviewed anything else recently? But I just love he goes, but he does like, a, Gina Rodriguez used the N-word. It's just funny, man. Anyway, it's just funny. It's just, so that's let's go back to the dates. When is that? Because that's in Vegas. I'll be there. I think it is
January 18th.
January 18th. I'll be there. It'll be funny. Chicago, Zany's Comedy Club, Wednesday, the 5th through the 8th. Ontario, Canada, the Grand Gerard Theater. People keep asking me, when are you going to be in Toronto? Friday, February 14th and February 15th. There is a live podcast as well, in addition to me doing stand-up there. So grab tickets for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure that's a bill that I'm on with Mark Norman, Shane Gillis. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Check that out before, but I'm pretty sure that those guys are involved in that as well. Indio, California, Fantasy Springs Resort Hotel and Casino, February 27th and 28th. Caroline's, this is the big one. New York City, March 12th through the 14th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Caroline's. Amazing show. We are, really going to put on a great show. I'm going to have great openers. I'm going to have people that are really, really funny. I might have a few guest spots. You might see, maybe I'm not going to even tell you who these people are going to be, but I'm just going to try to entice them to come out and do guest spots on the show. And if you know who some of my friends are and some of the people that I podcast with, you might have an idea of who these people are going to be. I'm not telling you because I don't know if I'll get them. But Bloomington, Minnesota, April 9th to the 11th, I'm at the House of Comedy. Phoenix, Arizona, House of Comedy, May 7th through the 9th. Edmonton, Canada, the Comic Strip, June 18th through the 20th. There's more dates that'll be added. Those are the dates that we have now. If you go to timdilloncomedy.com, we have links on the website for all of those tickets. But which is funny, man. It's just funny. And like I said, it's kind of it's with Ty, it's kind of like you get to a point where you just don't give a fuck. You stop giving. You can't give a fuck your whole career. You start to get unfunny. And I understand if people are cutting you big checks to be whatever, do that. I'm not hating them. Do that. I'm not. But nobody's